became independent.
However, the industry faces major challenges. A 2023 report indicates that 58% of gamblers are youth, many of whom are below the legal gambling age of 25 years.
As the board, we've taken more of a preventative than reactive route because, as you know, addiction does take time. I believe specifically for gambling, it takes over 10 years before one can be considered a recovered addict. So responsible gaming is not just the role of us as the regulator or even the civil society organizations, but we are now looking to the operators. And as mentioned earlier, we rolled out the responsible gaming directives where we are compelling now operators to have tools in place for not only the players but also addressing the underage gaming, having age verification measures in place to ensure that to gamble you have to be above 25 years.
The National Lotteries Board says enforcement efforts have been intensified, including penalizing companies that establish gaming outlets near schools.
We are trying to target parent-teacher conferences where we are speaking to not only the students, but also the parents.
To match the fast-evolving digital landscape where most betting activities have shifted online, government is now working on amendments to the existing National Lottery and Gambling Policy.
When the law was drafted in 2016, gambling was mainly land-based. Over the times, gambling has gone online. And when the law was done, there was not much provision for online gambling. So among the things that we are now doing is in the revisions that we are doing. One is to ensure that we have provision for online gambling. We have done drafts for regulations on online gambling. We have done, if you look here, we have a regulation on fees. We have separated. Previously, you would get one license and say betting. Now there is a betting license land-based. There's a betting license online.
The regulator also says efforts are underway to strengthen staffing levels and increase field supervision to monitor licensed operators.
On to our next story. State House has intensified efforts to promote fish farming in Busoga sub-region with 60 model farmers sent to Kenya for a benchmark study on modern aquaculture and livestock farming practices. The initiative seeks to encourage alternative sources of income beyond sugarcane growing. Let's have a look.
The farmers were sent through the Office of the Special Presidential Assistant on Press and Mobilization for a 3-day study tour at Fish Farm Paradise and Resort in Machokos, County near Nairobi. The facility specializes in fish and dairy farming using modern agriculture technologies. Leading the delegation was the Senior Presidential Advisor on Poverty Alleviation in Busoga, Florence Mutiavule, who said the program helps farmers adopt sustainable agriculture enterprises.
The swamps be natural as they are because we need the rains. And here, that is what exactly the owner of this farm has done. He's using the banks of the river, is using the banks of the swamp, and that is what also the President, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is saying. Let us go away from the swamps and use the banks of the swamps or the banks of the waters. And it is a very big lesson to our people here. We are a delegation of 60 people, and I think we can do a lot in Busoga to change people's minds.
At the training facility, the farmers were taken through modern fish production methods, fish feed formulation, pond management, and market systems. The Chief Executive Officer of the Aquaculture Association of Kenya, Stanley Moria, told the delegation that the farm produces up to 500,000 fish every month using modern hatchery.
Here we use the freshwater shrimps. If not the freshwater shrimps, you may also get the fish meal. We have the sunflower, cotton seed cake, wheat bran, then the maize bran.
The farmers welcomed the initiative, called for increased financial support, and stronger farmer cooperatives.
For them, they have formed an aggregation center, and they are having farmers who are supplying to that aggregation center, and they are able to have the market, to link the farmers to the market, but also to reach out to a wider market, both locally and internationally. So I think it is something that us in Busoga, we can also think of doing that, and with the ideas that we have got, we are going to even be better.
I've learned so many things because I've been facing a lot of challenges, like how to manage water, how to measure oxygen, so many things like tilapia have been challenging us a lot.
Here at this side, they fish, they feed numbers. They are feeding numbers, as we have seen in the hatchery. They are feeding based on numbers that they have in the pond. So that's how they realize big fish. They told us that when they are harvesting, they will harvest 500 to 1,000 grams. That's now business. So we should refocus as Ugandans to refocus onto fish as business, especially for us who are doing fish in the ponds.
Uganda remains one of the most resource-endowed countries in the region and is steadily emerging as one of Africa's leading gold exporters. However, sector players say safeguarding credibility and investor trust will be critical for the industry's long-term sustainability. In the following exclusive interview, we dive deep into the gold scam vice, how it is perpetrated, and proposed proactive solutions. Let's have a look.
Uganda is increasingly positioning itself as a major player in Africa's gold trade, with vast mineral deposits spread across different parts of the country. Unlike in the past, when most of Uganda's gold was exported in raw form, government is now pushing for value addition through refining before export. Gold has now officially overtaken coffee as Uganda's leading export commodity and top source of foreign exchange earnings. Gold export receipts are estimated at between $6 billion and $7.4 billion, underlining the sector's growing importance to the economy. However, despite the booming figures, the sector continues to face credibility challenges arising from widespread allegations of gold scams targeting foreign investors. According to Bernard Fenny, Executive Director, Eurogold Refinery, many fraudulent operations are often wrongly associated with legitimate licensed dealers, yet he argues that criminal networks operating outside the formal system are largely to blame.
It's very hard to believe it, but I've sat here for very many years in one office. One office, one place. I have seen a lot. Can I surprise you that 90% from 100, 90% of what you see put on media is not true about gold scam? Because they don't get chance to go to see behind why or what really is it true or what. The only is the one person. It's always one-sided. One person comes, is a foreigner. I've been stolen. I lost money. I've been scammed, and then the media picks it and blows it out. Now, a few years back, Eurogold was mentioned in a gold scam story.
Because I was about to ask if you guys have implicated.
Many times. But one was public, went on papers. And we were all shocked because we were also in the office working. And then we were like, what's going on? Then we went to find out. When we went to find out, the police was also in shock because the matter was already out. So the police had to pick from there. Why? This is one of the challenges that we need to address, actually. That not all what you see people call scam is not real scam. Most foreigners, and I'm on camera to say this, most these so-called investors are fake investors. They are not investors. Can I ask you something? Is it possible that you can fly from thousands of kilometers or come from Europe, enter Uganda, and go and pay over millions of dollars in a hotel to somebody you don't know?
It is professionally irresponsible, financially
Is there any billionaire that you know, a billionaire, let's say a millionaire in dollars or a billionaire, who can go to a police and say, I lost money, I was doing gold trade and it was taken from me in the car, or I handed it in a hotel, or we met on the road, he comes for gold trade. Is that logical, right? No. It's true. That's what you should know. So it's a syndicate. You see that? They call it triangle. I know because I'm in the street. I understand these things very well. I interact with all kinds of people. For your information, Eurogold is the only company, gold dealing company, where you can know this is a manager, this is a director, and this is so physical you can see. Why do you think other refineries don't allow anybody to even access their premise? Have you asked that question?
Now that you speak of it.
Thank you. Because they don't want to be part of this trouble. They understand that if someone is a genuine investor, he has to go through a company. He knows how much gold is and how much worth gold should be. You see that? Now, when I say that 90% of gold investors, they're actually the scammers. Real, they are the scammers. But the unfortunate part of it is that the media doesn't know, and even the authorities who are regulating this matter do not know. Let me tell you how they do it. They have access to each country. Now, Uganda is known and seen as the country where they can easily clean money, and authorities will support you as you clean your money. Even the police will clap hands, support you as you're cleaning the money. Why? For one to trade in gold internationally, even me, when I entered Dubai with my partners to do gold trade, there are strict rules. You must have a dealer's license, like any other country, even in Uganda. You must have a trading license. If you don't have a trading license, at least you should work with a company that is dealing in this trade. You see that? And then, you cannot come to trade in millions of dollars and you fly in tourist visa. When it is written there, work prohibited. And it is written in red pen, by the way. Have you seen the tourist visa? Yes. They write it in bold red pen, work prohibited. Why do you think they come intentionally on tourist visa? They know something, that Uganda is where football is played and no one cares. And people clap hands when somebody is doing scamming. So the scammer is not these boys. These are petty scammers. Can I give you the reason? Mostly, investigations have proven, and I've done my personal surveys, because I interact with these people. I've had people who come and tell me, Ben, we know that this thing, this, but we don't trust our own people. Help us. And as you go behind it, you find out this person had connived. Yes. He comes with, let's say he comes to buy 10 kilograms of gold. And that is, let's say, $1 million. Mostly, they don't pay for the gold. If you go to police now, I'm on camera, you ask, from 100 people, how many of these complainants who are investors bought gold in cash? They will never reach 10%. The 90% will say, I paid for transport, I paid for logistics, I paid for insurance, I paid this. And even if you ask them, so how many kilograms did you buy out of 10 kilograms in cash? It will be none. So why do you think they only pay for those things? The reason is one. The trick is, there's a business which they call CIF. In this business called CIF, it is where the client or the seller or the company that is selling the gold gives the gold without paying. And therefore the buyer, who is the investor, takes it up to the destination, maybe in Europe or in Hong Kong or in the Middle East, Dubai, he pays only after the goods have reached his destination. So if you look at the gold trade and all the cases in police stations, whether mineral police or anti-corruption, you will find out that the business they do is called CIF. And that's the term they use in gold trade. It means you don't pay for the gold, you only pay when it has reached the destination. So what do these investors do? They take advantage of that situation. So they come on the ground and invest maximally 10%. Because paperwork and everything, normally they say averagely 7%. Plus maybe something for the owner of the product, for them to fly together goes to 10%. So where is the 90%? Where is the 90%? So who is the thief here?
The supposed investor.
Yes. It is the investor who is the thief, who is the scammer. These ones are baby scammers. And funnily enough, they know where they're going. They call in advance. They will choose somebody. For you, be so and so, be a seller, and investor be in the hotel. Now, if you want to know that this is a fake investor, these are signs and symptoms. One, he will always come and stay in the hotel. And the business are done in the hotel. He will live in the hotel for very many days. Two, he comes on tourist visa intentionally. Thirdly, he will always make sure that he does photos and videos. They have what we call POP. That's what they call proof of product. And there's what they call POF. That is proof of fund. So the POP is what they are looking for. So these baby scammers, I'm sorry to say that, in Uganda who think they are the big boys, whatever it is. For me, I call it baby scammers. And then they go and get the gold. And then they put it on the table. And then this one who comes to scam now does the what? The video. And then he sends it where? To his brothers, companies, or where he's getting money from. After I get those videos, that's to validate that there's availability of what? Of gold. And then second stage is now money is going to be sent. And when they get the money, they share. Strange and very painful to believe. They share it. The owner takes 40%, goes back with it. And then another one is taken this, another. They know how to do it. Actually, half of it goes, normally 60%, yes, 60%. Then the 40% is shared among so many, whatever it is. So at the end of the day, the most hurtful thing, painful thing is, I wish there's a security, regulatory personnel who are watching me and they listen to this. The most painful part of it is that the country's reputation gets damaged. Because this person comes, gets photos, picks money worth 100%, and then invests only 7% or 10%. Some of those monies goes around, and then even media, some take part of it because they pay. Yes, they pay, go and cover. And then what they do? They go to police, report a case. I have lost what? Gold. How did you lose it? We went to such a place. As usual, they go to refinery because they want to validate the activity. So Eurogold, like this, has to give an asset report. And normally, they bring few genuine gold. And then it is tested. After gold is tested, because you need to give the what? The report. With videos, the excitement will be on high. And as you know, when we do this test, we do so many tests in order to satisfy a client.
Now, with the shortcomings and challenges you've passionately broken down that are taking place in the gold sector in Uganda, in your industry perspective, what do you think would be the solution to all this?
Yeah, the solution, first, for the fear of the international foreigners, there shouldn't be, there is a clear way how a trade should be done. Like how it is being formalized in other countries, particularly Middle East, Dubai. So is how it is going to happen in Uganda. One, I want to first drive you to the solution to the issue you mentioned about scam here. The solution is very simple. You know, when a house is leaking, that's an example, and you found water down, it's clear that there's leakage, not so? Today you have cleaned it up. Tomorrow you come back, you find there's what? Another water. Then you clean it up. Another time you come, you find water. You start complaining to neighbors that there's water every time in my what? Is that the right way of, is the complaint the best option? But if you go, you need to check the where? The roof, or where the leakage is coming from. So if the leakage is in the roof, before you even clean down, first deal with the what? With the leakage, which is in the roof. So the leakage here, to formalize and to make this Uganda to become successful in this being the gold hub of Africa, not just East Africa, and also benefiting fruitfully and attract so many investors, not only to buy, also to invest in the mining sector, formalizing the system is what is the key, and which has started by now creating market centers. Meaning there has to be a clear directive to the foreigners out there or investors that if you come into Uganda, you want to buy gold, this is where you go. Right. Gold is bought here or there or there. They must know. Two, they must also have clear conditions under which they should come to operate in Uganda if they're coming in for trade. We have the Ministry for Trade. We have Investors Board, not so. For somebody to come in the country as an investor, he needs to go to where? To Investment Board and declare his interest. That I have come to invest in mining in this specific, and he has to be given the what? To be accommodated. I believe they are very friendly and they will accommodate. It is these investors who don't want to follow the right road. The third solution is to put strict and tough conditions to these fake investors. Let me use the word fake investors. Why do I say they are fake? Because they are not doing the right thing. So there will be strict and tough rules, laws to protect them and also the indigenous investors and miners. This what should be. One, anyone found trading in gold on tourist visa should not be listened to. In fact, must be persecuted. How do you come to trade in gold and you're doing the business in a car or in a hotel, and then you rush to police that I'm an investor, I've lost millions of dollars? You must have a working permit. You see? Investor must get working permit first before he comes. Yes. You've come to work. Have a working permit, have a not tourist visa, but also working visa, and then you must go through these buying centers. You see that? So you're going to buy from buying centers. If I was a policymaker, if I was to be in one of these positions, I assure you, they will behave. So you must have working permit, must work with organized entities, and then you have to pay for what you're buying. There's no way you've just come to a country. Sincerely, can you go to Japan and then you just say, I'm only paying for transport. Carry for me all these cars for the government of Uganda, and that is it. Gold is almost a currency. It's like a liquid cash, a metal cash, let me use the word. It's another form of currency. There's no way you can tell somebody that I'm going to Africa, just carry it, and then they have to buy in cash.
That was the Executive Director, Eurogold, Bernard Fenny, explaining to us the developments and challenges within the gold sector in Uganda. And to be quite honest, it's a bit messy. But the government has since taken corrective and regulatory steps like purity rules, digital traceability, and many more to fill industry gaps and also deal with informal sector realities. But as you've heard from the gentleman, a lot more can still be done to protect sector players locally and internationally. And with that growth comes a shared responsibility to protect systems. I've been Maureen Babidie for the Business Roundup.
And the future we are looking at today is the future of technology, AI and digital transformation. That's the future we are looking at. The second one is human capital and talent. We need people who are skilled for the future, and especially for the needs and interests and preferences of clients in the insurance industry. And then innovation, continuous innovation, creating new ideas and new insights. We shared here this morning that we need to see the signals of change and quickly adopt before we are consumed by that change.
They say where there is smoke, there must be fire. And as travel advisories continue to increase in the wake of the Ebola outbreak, the warning signs cannot be ignored. Stay safe, remain vigilant, and continue adhering to the Ebola standard operating procedures issued by the health authorities. Otherwise, thank you for being part of the show. Let's catch up next time, same place. I've been your host, Dennis Igoa. Cheers.